Oh my gosh, finally. Sorry, this one's late, guys. What's going on, everyone? It's Wednesday. It's way after 11 o'clock. His fault. We'll get into who this is, but but this is not a green screen. This is 42 West 18th Street. You guys know you're always welcome here. If you're in that chat, you're welcome here in these chairs if you can get here to New York. Free classes all the time on the Adorama Events channel if you want to see the streams, and also Daniel and goes live from here and a few other things. But you're here now. This is Coffee with Creators, and I got Steve with me. Before I get into him, yeah, you're going to wait. You're going to wait this time, right? I want to give a quick thanks to our sponsor, Pelican. You know Pelican. Pelican is basically a noun. You go, oh, I'm going to go take my Pelican. Hey, do you have a Pelican? It's the name in protective casing in our industry, right? You go to any rental house, what do they give it to you in? A Pelican. You have everything you can imagine that you need to get protected. You have an option for it. And now they have their travel line, you know, with the Aegis and the other stuff, so that you can also have 4 wheels on the bottom of that case and still have the same Pelican protection, or big bags that are lightweight but are made of Cadora fabric that is high durability. Check out the links down below for Pelican. We want to thank them for supporting this series, and we want to say thanks to Tenba, because Tenba made us custom bags and you get one. So thanks for being on the show, man. You get this metal badge.
Sick. Actually, this is fire.
It's super, yeah.
Coffee with Creators.
Super limited edition, super limited. You know, it just doesn't say Supreme on it. You okay with that? Yeah.
I'm gonna take this right now, actually, sir.
Oh my gosh.
That's actually really dope.
Oh man. And lastly, and you guys know Tenba, they're 1977, started here in New York by a photographer. Check out the links down below for their full lineup. They too have pretty much everything you can imagine. And I want to give a quick thanks to When We Get the Coffee, because we're all out of sync today, and I apologize. Look, it's Yom Kippur, guys. We're a little weird right now. Gotham Roasters, When We Get the Coffee, it'll be here. It is a coffee house owned by a photographer and a filmmaker, and they're 1 block from Adorama. So make sure if you're going to come to sit at one of these chairs, you go there first, get your coffee, say what's up, tell them Adorama sent you, and just know you're also supporting our own species by hitting them up. All right, who is Steve Irby, Steve Sweatpants? So many names. Guy couldn't even take off the sunglasses today. Listen, basically, this guy is, first of all, an incredible photographer in a documentary sense. I really love how absolutely authentic his images are. And I always know before I even look at it that I came across one of his images, it's his image. So that is a big thing for me as another photographer to be able to spot that.
Wow.
But you're also a creative director. You're also a founder of Street Dreams magazine, which is how I actually met you. And you're also in the gallery world now. You're on the board of blah, blah, blah for APA. Like, I mean, this guy's actually growing up, which is weird. I don't know.
Is this really happening?
I mean, it's just kind of nuts. But I mean, I feel like you not only said, hey, I'm going to pick up a camera, you picked up a ball and you ran with it. And that's how I always think about you. Because whenever you pop up, I'm like, what's he doing? What's he doing now?
I feel the same way.
So first of all, what is Street Dreams magazine? Why does it exist? Why did you decide I need to do this? I'm going to pull up the Instagram just so that people get an idea of the work you produce, but also what Street Dreams is about. So while I do that, why don't you tell me what is going on, man?
Honestly, a little bit of everything, like to your point, like, you know, being born and raised from New York, like, you know, rent's expensive. So I need to find multiple ways to pay my rent all the time. But like, yeah, no, we've been homies now for like close to like a decade and change. So it's getting to that point now.
2017, I did that. I shot the Grammys party for you.
Yeah. That was like 2017 now.
That was like 400 portraits in a night that also got printed. They also got printed on the spot.
That was actually a really crazy project. And thank God you was there with me too. That's the first thing I got verified on Instagram too, which is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a whole thing.
That's when we cared about that.
Yeah, actually, yeah. That's when you didn't have to pay for it. You know what I mean? But no, it's crazy. So I started Street Dreams with my business partners who happen to be Canadians, which is wild. But we started the company now going on 12 years ago. When we first started Street Dreams, we started it because, you know, as much as I love like Juxtapoz magazine and like the New York Times and all that kind of stuff like that, we didn't want to wait to get validated. You know what I mean? And we just wanted to create our own validation system. So, no, shout outs to it's like the classic New York story. What a guy. Thank you. This coffee is going to be amazing. But like, shout out to my barber, because like that's like a quintessential rule. Always be cool with your barbers. He connected me with my business partner, Eric. You know, like that was 12 years ago. And then like we came up with the idea with Street Dreams because at first we wanted to make it a Tumblr page. You know, it's just like,
what?
Bruh, I know.
What?
Isn't that crazy?
You're going to start a Flickr next? Is that what your next endeavor is?
Like, actually, yeah, we wanted to start it off as a Tumblr page. And the more that I started talking to Eric and Mike, I was like, like, I've been shooting with, I would just start dropping names in there. I've been shooting with like Jay and Silva, like, I would call Jay and Silva like, the Lord of Light. We've been shooting with Silva since the beginning. Like Dave Krugman, like Dave Krugman's been my brother from another mother for years now. So it felt so weird to make a magazine with just like me and Eric. I was like, we have to like do this together, especially like not being a self-taught photographer. Like I was working at GameStop down the block, dude, you know what I mean? So everything was more or less like on some Wu-Tang, the Ramones kind of vibes, like we're gonna do this together.
Yeah,
and
it's the most punk thing ever.
Yeah,
like I think that's
absolutely.
why we clicked in a little bit, because I'm like, if you think you want to go do something, you want to try to build it. DIY till death, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think you also had quite a network around you of people that were ambitious enough to do it. Not just, hey, that's a cool idea, Steve. Let's sort of just say we're doing something. Because you know how many times in New York, you know what this is? They print a T-shirt and you never see it again, right? It's like the new mixtape. Like, yo, check out my new thing. I give it a month and then you have to think about it ever again.
Exactly.
Right?
You're gonna get tired of it in 20 minutes. Like, no, like to your point, like everybody was actually really about, seeing this come into fruition. So like there was no posers, dude. Like everybody was really trying to like see this come through. So like I will never take credit for like, starting Street Dreams, quote unquote. Like it was really a community effort of like, I always kind of compare.
Oh, it's for real. I was like, I think that was Ricky Powell in that one.
Yeah, Ricky Powell, R.I.P.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you guys don't know, Ricky Powell shot like Beastie Boys and I think Madonna.
Honestly, everybody, Basquiat, Warhol, Sidney Crawford. I mean, like
what an era.
Run DMC, like literally everybody.
Yeah.
And Ricky Powell was one of the OGs. Like he was one of my mentors. Like he always would say, "Am I the craziest white boy you know?" I was like, "Absolutely." You know what I mean? But like he was on some like true New York, like we're stronger together kind of vibe. So I've always like he was like one of the people that laid down the foundation for me. Him, Jamel Shabazz, Joseph Rodriguez. That's like my holy trinity of like homies. You know what I mean? So I've always referred to them when it comes to like street photography and documentary work and stuff like that. So always love those guys.
But that's been like your base is the documentary stuff, but you always are going on to the next. I got to tell you, you make me feel like I'm always old. I'm always like, what is this thing? How do you know about this thing? I mean, let's think about this weird week we had called NFTs.
Oh God, that whole era, right?
It was that whole week, man, that lasted. I mean, really, the names you just mentioned that you started the magazine with, were all in on NFT, and it's still a thing, but it's not what it was at that point. But you guys went all in. You guys didn't just go like, hey, we're going to do this. You owned it kind of for New York.
Yeah.
I think what you want about it, if you're for or against, whatever the case is.
Absolutely.
But they didn't get afraid of what's the next thing and how can we own it? How can we be the ones for it? What kind of mentality does it take? Where do you get the confidence to be like, we can carry this?
It's a little bit of like it's like a double-edged sword with it. I always try to use like the metaphor like I always use the metaphor of like horses and cars. I mean, like I'm gonna make sure I learn how to drive the car first. Like I'm not mad at understanding how to ride a horse, but I need to understand how this automobile works just so I don't get left behind. And NFTs was the same thing. It's more or less like I definitely feel everyone with like their skepticisms about NFTs because it feels like a cash grab. It feels like straight up like a grift. But like there is another way to look at it if you can just open the spectrum a little bit. And I've always tried to approach it as like artists, our work needs to be accessible. Like if you tell any artist like you can buy my work in any way possible, I've always leaned towards that kind of way to support the work. So I never like get caught up in the buzzwords of things, like the negative connotation of words. I'm like, all right, cool. Like that word NFTs feels like a grift, but selling your work digitally makes sense, Well, so I always try to lean towards that instead of like, let's sell like a bunch of apes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
not only does it make sense, I'm a firm believer, like we have to find a way to make digital ownership, not licensing.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing. Any kid that plays video games knows this 1,000%. Like, what do you mean that video game that I bought is no longer listed anymore? What? And then you find out what a license is, right?
Yeah.
But I do think the problem that I found with NFT was I felt like we were being used. I didn't jump into it, but I felt like we were being used as like a mask for the Bitcoin bros. I just felt like it's a pretty little wrapper, but this is the real thing that's happening.
Yeah.
Because the stuff that was being sold, some of it was like a cat drawing on a napkin or whatever, and fine, whatever. But
sweet. but still, to your point, like, is this really about what we represent? And like, we happen to be purists, dude. So, and I still have that purist kind of energy, and it's still like, it's like the way I look at it as well too. Is like that's still definitely happening, but like, there's another side of the conversation that we can focus on, though, you know. And then I just don't want to inherently focus on that side of the conversation. If we have a bunch of homies that are just reluctantly like, you know, just kind of annoyingly, but like, no, dude, we want to have the conversation be. Oh, sorry, my bad. Okay. We want to have the conversation be more accessible and less about like, oh, let's just make a quick flip. Then that's way more like advantageous for us. You know what I mean? Because it's just weird to like trying to grift people all the day, dude. Like, I'm not trying to grift everyone all day. And then like some of those platforms are so predicated on that, like you kind of forget the mission. But there is like, there's always like a couple of good people on one corner of the spot that will like help validate you and help bring it into the space. I always kind of focus on that the little 5% of homies that like can really make it a thing, because 95% of it could be kind of, you know, what in the world is going on. So I've always kind of focused on those like little small groups and the niches and try to expand on that, you know. So I know that makes sense, right?
Yeah, no, well, yeah, but so to that point, do you think that the surge kind of hurt the whole NFT thing?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, okay.
No. I think I heard it, but at the same time, I think it's kind of similar in the way of like we got all the bad apples out of it. So like everybody that was kind of either turned on to it or at the same time feeling like this is not for them, they got everybody out that way now. So then everybody who's really about it, they will stick with it. And it's kind of like the same thing. Like, you know, I kind of like compare it to like, you know, my love for a specific Mario Karts. You know what I mean? Like Mario Kart 64 is.
I thought you were gonna say Laboos. I was gonna lose my mind.
Laboos, dude. There's certain lines. Beanie Babies only, dude. Like only Beanie Babies. Even though that guy's a weirdo, you know what I mean? But Boo Boos, I can't do it.
No,
but it's like, you know, the niches. Like we can find like punk. That's why punk is gonna be alive forever, because like punk is always gonna have like just those homies who really care about punk. Like I feel the same way about like boom bap hip hop. You know what I mean? It's still gonna have homies that care about it. So I just try to focus on the niches and try to validate those platforms about it. You know,
bro. I grew up in New York as a punk in the hardcore scene, and you know, I feel like hip hop ran parallel, and you kind of meshed. We all had the same thing, and we kind of got into each other's stuff. I gotta tell you, in this era, I'm like, this is hip hop. Like, what is it? It's like this dude is singing to me in auto tune, and the rhymes are. I'm sorry, but there's like it hasn't been anything impactful to me lately, and I'm like, I'm old. I guess I'm just old now.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way though.
Oh yeah,
no, absolutely. You know, there's probably like an artist here and there that might pop up that I'm like, oh yeah, this dude's kind of tight. But like now I'm definitely the guy who's listening to old stuff all the time, dude. Like I can't even help it. So like I'm getting stuck. Like, I feel like my parents now. Like we keep on talking about like Motown and like Billy Joel. Like my version is like Jay-Z and Bad Brains. I'm gonna just keep on listening to these guys forever.
Oh, Bad Brains.
Love Bad Brains.
It's one of those shirts you'll always see like somewhere in the city. Wow. You'll see Joy Division shirts, Bad Brains shirts, Dead Kennedy shirts every now and then.
All day.
You know, it's just kind of nuts. Like there's these like Misfits shirts.
Misfits all day.
Like there's just an iconography of it rather than the music that'll last. That's what I think, right? You know, some people, I see kids that come here to classes wearing shirts they've never listened to any of that.
Isn't that crazy?
That is.
I think that's insane.
They wear vintage pro wrestling shirts. I know you have no idea who that is.
I'm actually offended. You know what I mean? Like don't wear like the Nation of Domination shirt if you don't know who they are and what they represent.
Come on, Farouk's my boy, man.
Farouk is a great Terry Bradshaw. Like, come on, dude. Like,
D'Lo Brown, bro.
D'Lo, come on.
Nah, but I think like, don't you feel stressed out though? Like, don't you feel a responsibility to always knowing the next? You are running a media outlet.
Yeah.
You need to know what's being talked about. So how do you stay up? How do you not fall behind? How do you stay relevant as a media source?
That's a great question, honestly. And it's like to that, like, I guess the best way to answer is like, cause I'm a genuine fan, you know, like I love what we do, you know, and I genuinely like consume it, you know what I mean? Like, so whether it's with the podcast or the Comic Cons, even though I think I'm gonna miss my Comic Con pass.
Are you really?
No, because I think I signed up too late, and that's definitely my fault. So like, I'm just gonna wait till hear what they say. But like, dude, like I've been going to Comic Cons for 15 years at this point. You know what I mean? And like the same thing, like growing up and going to car shows and like, you know, movies, and like I genuinely love this stuff with clothes and sneakers. So like I've always tried to have like a very like it kind of comes down with my photos, like this purist take on it. Like I've never tried to like obviously you want to monetize things because we're adults, but like dude, like I want to make sure that like I could still put something forward that I actually want to consume as well too. Like I never want to put a product like or a food or anything that I don't even promote. Even if I don't like cheese, I want to make sure I find the best cheese for people. You know what I mean? Like so I genuinely am like enamored and like I love like the human experience and I always want to give like the most pure human experience from someone who is not jaded, you know.
Oh no, I when every time something goes on in New York, like that's really like hitting the news, mainstream news, I'm like, Steve's gonna be there and I just got to make sure I stay up on his Instagram because you really do cut through all this static and noise of the spectacle and you start pulling out, you dissect it and really make it digestible for the real core of what's going on. When the riots are going on during COVID, I was like, your shots, I don't even know if I could find them on here. You post so much.
No, I feel like I'm posting never honest. It's crazy.
Go check out Steve's Instagram. I got to tell you, because you strip it, first of all, you strip away, let's talk about it. So you strip away a lot from the technique. When you guys shoot black and white, you're making a surreal look, but you're taking away any distraction of color, tone. Your tone is what the visual is. You're now focused on texture, silhouettes, on weight in the frame, and the level of density to your shadows and blacks, like your tonality of grayscale, is weight, like it's heavy.
Yeah.
And even when it's uplifting, like a kid, like you had like ones with like little kids playing basketball, that's still that same tone. You feel the weight of the victory as much as you feel the weight of the seriousness in those other shots. So like, I feel like it took you a while to evolve to that point. And I think you navigated your style perfectly.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
And I think that's why you get pulled up. One time I ran into this guy on the train, I think like 9 years ago, and all he had was like a beat up camera and a lens. And I go, "Where are you going?" He's like, "I'm going to go shoot Colin Kaepernick." I'm like, "Bro, if they called me," he's like, "Oh, you'd probably have like 16 Pelicans." I'm like, absolutely, I'd be shoving 10 strobes.
But I've always kind of like, I think the older I get, like I'm like getting annoying. I lean more into the simplicity of it more. Because like especially with like that's why I've always like been a fan of your work, because like the technicality and just the like lighting and all that stuff like that, my brain can process it, but it can't process it at the same time because it's so candid. Like I'm so like everything's like Shakespearean with me. It's like I know it sounds like a cheesy cliche answer, but I really feel like that, dude. I hear the jazz playing in my head. I feel the darkness. Like it's like that one cliche, like the one rose coming out of the cracks of the concrete. I feel like that every single time.
All right, Tupac.
Like, hey, you want to hear some more? Dear mama.
I thought you were East Coast, son. What's up,
baby? But I just like, everything really feels like, it feels like my OG, like kind of like boom bap. Like I feel like I'm like mob deep in the trenches every single time. Like, it's always like this juxtaposition of like how to communicate something that's simple, that's still like a black experience, but a New York experience, but it also doesn't feel like I'm just trying to bang you in the head and like, oh yeah, word, like, this is my life. And I never wanted to feel like trauma related. I wanted to feel more like honest. You know what I mean?
That genuine and honest. I think the paths we went like this, like I can always shoot black and white and whatever, but the reason I go into it with like high production is because like you have a choice as a photographer, like do they see the work or do they absorb the image? And I kind of always lean a little bit more like, no, look how much work I put into this, but I'm literally altering spaces to make something that doesn't actually exist there with strobes and lights and whatever I do. You're like, no, I don't want you to get distracted by what I'm doing. I'm trying to and that's why I always use the word dissect with your work, because he's shooting such hectic, chaotic situations, and he's literally pulling out these things. And that is a documentary photographer. That is someone that is trying to make sense of what's going on out there and use the language of images to then make it make sense to you and make it coherent. You really have a lot of impactful images.
Thank you.
I mean, when you're in those hectic situations, what's going through your head? Are you like, you on guard? Are you doing the mosh pit thing where the elbows are out? Or are you just like, no, what's the most hectic part? I got to get in there.
Good question. Honestly, it's like a Papa Roach song. It's like I cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing.
Whoa! You can't bring mole metal into a discussion. I mean, I got Matthews in here talking about Black Flag in this chat. You're gonna bring in some.
Like, I cut my life. Like honestly, like
look at this Hot Topic kid. What is this? Get out of here with this, man.
Like, sir, keep the mic, sir. But it's honestly like to your point. I think you could speak to this as well too. We just grew up in so much chaos, you know what I mean? And then even when it comes to black and white photos, it helps me like simplify things. Like it helps me like slow down time. It really is like being a magician. And like for the protest, for example, there was so much madness that was going on. I just always gravitate towards like something that like, what can I tell my mom happened, you know?
So do you think you distill it basically?
Yeah, a little bit. It's kind of like being distilled, but at the same time is like, is this an espresso shot or is this going to be like the shotgun blast, you know? And I'm always kind of going back and forth like, am I going to give you somebody an espresso or am I going to really try to hit them in the chest?
Right.
And there's also like compacted storytelling, and I always kind of look back and like the way that I document or take images, I'm always building a story. So like sometimes, you know, people would probably never see all the images I take because I shoot a lot of photos, but there is a consistency of like, what happened today, you know? All right, so a homie jumped on top of a car and played some Pop Smoke. I want to make sure I get that moment because that was something that will always kind of stick with you. You know what I mean? Like we always kind of use that term, like what had happened was. I'm always
what had happened.
Like,
that's such a New York thing.
I'm always trying to be like, all right, every image I take, I'm like, all right, so what had happened was it legit is a rendition of that day to the T. You know what I mean? So every photo I can have like a what had happened was moment. Literally every single one. I'm seeing like a million stories in my head pop up, even like with you just scrolling. I'm always obsessed with like folk tales, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what's like the illest, concise folk tale can you tell, you know, with an image? And I'm always kind of enamored with that, you know what I'm saying?
But I think there's also something he said for what I think people forget about when they're first starting is it's not just about the shooting. It's about editing out I don't want to say culling. I feel like that's such a cheap term.
I know what you mean.
But literally understanding how to edit your work so you make sense. You guys all have a vast vocabulary, but if you just keep saying words, no one's listening or getting anything out of it.
What are you talking about?
But you've kept you know what tone you're looking for. And when you look at a string of images from something you shot, you can see it's deliberate, what you put out to the world.
Yeah.
So I think that shows a lot of sophistication and maturity as a photographer, especially, which I don't think some people ever learn.
I mean, it takes time, you know. It was definitely a long process because now, I'll be 39 in January, so I've been shooting now, like since I was like, oh, Salvatore, ha.
What's up, Sal?
Oh my God, happy birthday! Sorry I missed your birthday. I was just so tired.
It's like 3 weeks ago, by the way.
I know. But yeah, no, there's just like a level of, you know, it's just like a level of being like really hard-headed. You know, I've always kind of like also looked at it, like not to get too like artsy, but I've always looked at it as like visual contracting. Like my pops was a master's electrician, like, you know, from like Brooklyn, you know, a black dude who's a master's electrician running his own company was like, that was not happening like in the 80s and 90s. So like, I was supposed to be an electrician and that kind of, that didn't work out clearly.
See, my dad's an engineer. I don't know what happened to us.
We decided to take photos.
This is what happened when bloodlines get diluted, I guess, you know?
I was like, my bad. So I've always kind of referred it to visual contract. So instead of knowing like, you know, plumbers and carpenters, like I know photographers and like, you know, editors and like DJs. I'm still trying to build a home. I just need to figure out which home we're building. That's like my whole like soliloquy.
I always think about that because I look back at who I grew up with, like in the BMX world and all the skate world. I'm like, how many of us actually made it to be able to pay our rent? I got guys that are older than me living with like 16 people in one small apartment kind of thing. And I'm like, and I think back and like, I got you beat. My uncle is a nuclear physicist.
Oh my God. Dude.
What happened? So it's like
the laboratory.
But you know what happened? We found something we connected with and we weren't afraid to go for it. And we got to give props to ourselves for that. And I know how this is. Sometimes you don't know when that check's going to find, you don't know when you're going to find that next check or whatever. That's when I saw you at Comic-Con like 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
2 years ago. And I put you in my video and I was like, I got to feature Steve in this video because I was getting a lot of people like, I need to bring my lighting kit and make sure. Steve was going around and he's going like this and all he would do is this and no direction, nothing. He let them do the pose they wanted to do and then he figured out his look on it and I was like, this is the only guy here doing this.
Which
everyone
is
else
crazy
is
to me.
like it was very
I think
cool.
It's crazy. Like, because you know what? Because it's like I think with photography, like, and I like this. Not the photography is for me is like it's the sense of control, right? But like, do I need to control everything? You know, like, dude,
you're just lazy, bro.
Yeah, efficient, efficiency. I was like, dude, I want to like. I'm like, maybe I'm too contrarian, but I was like, dude, I don't want to like like overpower situations. Like I think that the whole point was supposed to be an exchange. You know what I mean? So I never like, especially when it comes to Comic-Con, like you know how much effort people put into their fits. So now I'm gonna tell you what to do. That sounds insane to me. So I've always like, I'm happy you peeped that because I would never say anything.
Yeah,
you know
if you go back and watch that video, I have B-roll of him like the way he works. I was like, people need to see like you can come here just like this and get. Okay, you have to make a decision. Are you shooting Comic-Con as Comic-Con, or are you shooting the cosplayers to look like they're at a studio?
Yeah.
And you were like, no, this is the spectacle.
Yeah.
And I think that's documentarian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think when you have all control, the thing that shuts me down is its responsibility. The end result, no matter what, because you had so much control, you know, hang or climb, you know, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that makes it not fun. And then I'm like, someone else can get the shot.
Yeah, but honestly, that's why I think you're so dope because like I'm like that gives me so much anxiety. So I'd rather play candid variables all day. But I was like, oh, I have to make decisions.
Yeah, it sucks.
I was like, look at your work. I'm like, oh, Seth knows exactly what he wants to do. Then you got little old me trying to figure it out.
Well, you went out with your camera and shot culture, right? And I did that in like some punk. I did that in the BMX culture. But once I got into I needed to make money, and I said, "Where's the money?" It was commercial.
Yeah.
So when I got into sets, and I'll never forget this. There was an old guy's name was Mike, heavy set guy. Imagine a guy breathing hard, looking at an empty studio, and he goes, "Well, Seth, we're gonna have to fill this with something." And then that's when I realized, oh, it's a blank page.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's all up to you, right?
Yeah.
I just remember how hard that guy breathed. He's probably dead by now. He's probably dead by now. If you're Mike
with a guy.
But you are going into a situation like, what can I pull from this rather than what can I build from nothing?
Yeah.
And it's just two different approaches, you know what I mean? And I think that's what makes this so great is that there is no perfect shot. There is no one direction. There is no one point of view.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've always used like music for metaphor. So like Jay Dilla is one of my favorite producers of all time. And like Jay Dilla doesn't make perfect beats. It has to be a little funky.
That's why Wu-Tang was great. It was so off key.
Funky.
It was weird.
Everything is perfect. Like it's weird. Like
New York grime.
Yes.
New York.
Yes. Please bring it back, son. It's like the RZA, the Jizza.
Actually, there's a question in the chat from Matthew Studio Equipment. What's up, Martin? He's going, do you have one camera set up for street shooting and one for studio work, or do you switch it up? I don't ever seen you in a studio, bro.
No, honest, I do studio work, but then honest, I still use the same camera. And then but I do switch up the lenses a little bit. Like
Whoa, he's bold. He's so bold.
Honestly, I'm like the annoying old person now. Like when Sony sees me with my cameras, like Steve has so much texture on his cameras. I'm like, yep. But I love my 25 and my 85. But then if I'm doing like studio stuff, I like to flirt around with the 35 and the 55 because like it's still like I love movement and then like I like to like tell people what to do, especially in those settings, but like not too much. It's almost like can you think about something? Can you ponder something? Can you like sit in this corner of light? So and still be candid. So the 35s and 55s still help me like maneuver around, but like for the streets it's always like the 25 and 85. I'm either shooting wide or I'm shooting the 85, like using the 85 is like playing Elden Ring. You know what I mean? It's like legit one of the most annoying lenses to use, but honestly, it's so fire. Once you get one shot out of that bad boy, it's like every time. I always miss that thing. I love the 85 so much. Mercy, but cool.
I got an 85 I really like, but I don't know how you work with it, but in my head, I'm doing a Rolodex. You ever go to like an eye doctor and they flip through like all these things till you see right? I'm looking at someone like bang, bang, bang. I'm going through all these things like, nah, longer lens. And then, but this is also why I lean on zooms a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen me work like a full job, but I'm very erratic. And the last thing I want to do is everyone pause. I've got to change lenses. So zooms are everything for me most of the time. And then when I see that I'm settling in somewhere, I go, all right, I'm settling around 105. Just get me a clean 105.
Oh, see, that's smart though, because you want to keep the momentum.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like when you drop the momentum in those kind of situations, and then people start looking, now it gets weird.
Yeah. So the 85, when I start realizing I'm settling into around 85, I'm like, well, I'm shooting at 85 at F whatever. Give me the 1-2 and let's make this look.
Yeah, and then you already know where you want to stand. You already want to know where you want to kind of operate. I'm like kind of the same way too. But then also like when you use lenses for so long, especially I'm always like an annoying prime guy. You kind of know where you want to stand now. Like I've been using that same lens for so long. I kind of know where I want to be.
You feel like a 50 guy to me.
I love the 50. Remember when Sony came out with the 55-1.8, like their first lens? I still love that lens. But they just came out with the new macro, the 100 millimeter. Oh,
there's always a new.
Good. There's always a new.
Always a new.
But that one looks really, really sick. So
try to find an ugly lens in this era. Try. It might look too clean. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
A little
true.
clinical. I'm surprised you don't. You know, I always thought one day you'd get into filters like soft filters like the Fusions or Pro Mist.
A little bit, but it's still like
That music video soft feel.
it's some of it, something that's still like I'm like maybe I'm like too much like a purist. It feels like fake a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, but I just think like I've seen some of the filters that like still like I've seen them work in like situations where it makes sense. Like if my lens is dusty, like I want it to come off as dusty. Like I don't want to make it dusty. You know what I mean?
So like imagine here if you were using a Pro Mist, you'd get more of like a bloom around that lens. Like I don't know if you feel that or like even experimented that way.
I haven't honestly.
But I always think like one day this dude's gonna get into some kind of filters. I bet it never happened. Never happened.
Like, but I'm honestly like I'm still might because I'm at like this stage of my photography now where like it's like you get so confident that I need to start doing stuff, and my mom keeps on saying like you need to try something different. So I was like, I guess. But I think it's annoying to be consistent. So like I have that tension in my life all the time.
If you start getting bored with yourself.
I'm not bored yet, personally.
But that's the thing, right? So you don't change if you're not bored. Right?
I'm like, what you tell, girl? I'm not bored.
You don't change if you're not bored, man. Like, I mean, if someone gives me another zombie to shoot, I'm gonna be bored out of my mind. Like, I'm over. I shot, I did 15 years of shooting zombies.
Yeah,
I'm
shot a million zombies.
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what kept me on my toes: the 450 portraits you made me shoot twice. They had Street Dreams parties, and let me tell you, like, what a pull of people, what a draw of people they get when they announce they're having an event. And he was like, hey, can you set up a photo booth? And we want to do this. And he just showed me a picture with gels on. I'm like, all right, I'll do this, but my way. So I did 2 different ones and we shot. Everybody got 4 photos. No matter what, no matter how that photo came out, it went straight to an email and it got printed on the spot. Ended up doing that 400 times that night.
Which is insane.
But I tell you what, I got to photograph you with your father.
I know. I was going to say that too. And that's a really special photo.
One girl had a Polaroid camera on her, a Polaroid Mini, and she took a photo of me and handed me the Polaroid.
That's kind of gangster.
And I was like, oh, this is, I'm sorry, it was Instax Mini. I apologize. So it was just kind of a really cool exchange. So I got a picture of my elbow, like going crazy.
Oh, now that's kind of fire.
Yeah. I was like, I think her name was Courtney. And there's still people I'm connected with just from shooting that part of it on my Instagram. So
that's insane.
It's just weird how like having an activity, not just meeting up in a room, connects people. But man, did you put me to work?
Oh my God. Like, what's so crazy about that spot too? That spot is closed now, dude. Which is freehold. Yeah, and it closed down maybe like a couple years ago.
The second one was in a gallery in Chelsea.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. No, that was once my dad was still like, hanging around and all that stuff. It was actually really tight. Like you have photos that sits in my family's memories forever.
I probably have them on my phone if you want them.
Oh God, I would definitely take them and print it out.
Funny story. After that gallery one, since my studio's a couple blocks away and it was like 2 a.m, I ended up going back to my studio, just drop the gear. You know what I ran into? Daniel Norton on the couch of my studio in a comforter and slippers.
Are you serious? That's actually insane.
I was like, where'd you get the comforter from?
Daniel Norton. It's like MySpace Tom, dude. I'm like, what?
One of my favorite memories, and I've known him like 20 years. That's one of my favorite memories ever of Daniel. But I got to say, going into that, I knew it was going to be hard, and I probably complained the whole time because I'm lazy. But at the end, when you look back at the images, I got to say, you pushed me to do something I probably would never put together myself. So like, that's kind of the magic of Steve. It's weird. And I think that's why it's so fitting that you have a media source and a platform like Street Dreams.
I mean, honestly, I just gives a lot of credit to like my pops, honestly, like legit, like it's just really dope to see like, people, especially like, I know we're going to keep on like, patting ourselves on the back New Yorkers, but like, dude, it's ill to see New Yorkers just do their own thing. Yeah. And my pops was never concerned about, anything else. Like he didn't care if you was black, white, straight, like anything. He was like, dude, are you trying to work? And like, let's get this done, And I do the same thing with photography. Like I've always had that same kind of output of like, dude, like let's build this crib. Let's pump some music and like let's do something, And honestly, hopefully I can keep on doing it, dude. Like I think it keeps me young. So
how does Street Dreams actually survive? Like, do people buy issues, or is there merch? Like, is there a subscription?
Oh God, dude,
like how does it survive?
The way I kind of compare Street Dreams to, and then we're getting better at it now, but like I've always compared it to like an indie, like we like an indie music label, like Stone's Throw Records. Like we pretty much have been like making MF Doom albums for a long time. That's the way I kind of like describe it as.
You know what I'm talking about? New York legend. Oh my gosh,
bro, what a guy, MF Doom all day. And then, so what we managed to do throughout the years is always kind of leverage the magazine. The magazine was like our entry point. So we never really charged sponsorships or ads for the magazine, but we always built out everything around the magazine. So whether it was galleries, whether it was merchandise, whether it's through activations, we've always kind of centered as the magazine being like the thing to like break into the door. I'm like, oh, word, this is who we are. This is what we want to represent and validate. And then everything else we build around the experience, because we never wanted to like dilute the magazine. And nothing against like people who put ads. Like, we should be putting ads in the magazine. Like, honestly, like, I'm getting old. You know, I got bills.
Well, I thought you would be doing homegrown ads, like little guys in the Lower East Side.
Exactly. But it all had to make sense. Like, it legit always had to make sense. So we've always just kind of like, you know, make the magazine pure, but have build outs around it. Like, so even in this year, like, we been doing a lot of stuff in Japan. So we've been having like a lot of really good workouts there. We was able to open up a gallery and run that for 2 years, which is insane. Being from Flatbush to have a gallery in Japan is like, bro, what?
Where in Japan?
Shibuya.
Oh,
and
what?
Then, bro, I know, it's crazy,
What?
dude. Like, down the block from like that whole Shibuya crossing madness, it was insane. We had it for 2 years.
Shibuya's amazing.
So now we're thinking about opening up something in Osaka, because we transitioning out of the space in Shibuya because it was really dope. But like, now I was trying to see something else. It kind of goes back into the same thing. Like, why are we doing this? Like, what's the whole point? Like, what's the point of
What's
like,
the meaning of life, guys?
like, guys, like, why is this Papa Roach song still playing?
Don't bring them up to me ever again.
I got one. Creed is next. But it always kind of comes back to like, you know, not only can we like service like our own like selfish goals, but like is it always supported by some things that made sense? So like, whether it's through like partnerships with things that are adjacent, or just other ways to like having like the Sonys of the world or any other companies that like kind of help facilitate those kind of things, but we try to always keep the entry point pure and then build out everything immersive around it.
Well, that makes sense, because I think the audience or the social response to things you do is so strong. And I have a saying, like, no matter what you do, if you win the crowd, you'll never lose.
Yeah.
The corporations come and go, the deals come and go, whatever jobs come and go. But if the people stay with you wherever you go, and they support whatever you're putting out there, you never lose. And I think that's really what you guys are doing. Yeah, you know, I mean, I think your currency, your value is the society that you're building. I call it a society, but it's like a community, I guess. You know,
it's staying. I can, as soon as he said that,
all
I'm
right.
like, all right.
All right. So, you know, you guys and the trash band stuff. This isn't Family Values tour, okay? I take your Limp Bizkit stuff somewhere else.
It's all about the he's that she.
Don't you start this with me.
But you know, we come from like purist cultures, dude. Like, I was just even thinking about it. I've never really thought about it this way, but like, just even like, you know, tying it all together. Like, punk culture is pure, dude. Hip hop culture is pure. We're gamers too. Gamer culture is pure. Comics is pure. We're like OG gamers. Like, you're not gonna be wearing no Zelda shirt if you don't play Zelda kind of thing. I don't want to see that. That is weird. You know what I mean? But like, you have the Warrior shirt on, dude. Like, my mom is from around the way. You know what I mean? Like, but we really are, you know, respect those things. So I would never bring those things. I would never go into a space without as much respect for I have of all these subgenres. Like, why would I ever, like, you know, approach anything like that? Like, you know, I mean, I feel like that. Eric feels like that. But Mike feels like that. Everybody from Street Dreams, we had that same feeling. Like, dude, like, we're not posers. So we're gonna do something. Right. We're gonna do something that's real. And I think that people resonate with that. Thank God, because, like, you know, I'm like the same way, dude. Like, I'm not trying to. You know, it's just weird. It's corny. Like, I never want to do something corny.
We live in a world in New York. Every week there's some weird pop-up, and you will see people spend their entire day on a line just to pay for something that's being marketed to them. Like, there was some like K-pop makeup thing, and there was a line forever. I saw these girls there for all day, and I'm like, when you have something that isn't just a product being shoved down your throat, how could that not resonate? How could it not be real? And by the way, the Warriors, the most diverse gang you'll ever find. Are you kidding me?
Can you count suckers? Millions and millions.
The best rock star game ever. Warriors. Warriors.
Ever. Real shit. Honestly, they need more credit for that.
Yo,
they should drop that again. I don't know what they're saying.
It was on PlayStation 2, man. Like, I
love that game. That game was so good, honestly. I still have that DVD in my crib. Like, legit, I love that movie to death.
GTA 6 is about to pop down. We got that next year. I'm stuck on Silk Song right now. I mean, I think gaming culture for us was different, though, because it was an isolated thing. Yeah. Now it's where you actually connect.
Now it's cool, but it wasn't like quote unquote cool when we were growing up.
Yeah, but we weren't online.
No,
we weren't doing that. You played this game, then you talked about it somewhere you saw people. You know, you weren't living in the game. You know, so it's really interesting. What do you say to younger kids coming up right now? I mean, I think the idea of publishing is different now. I think the idea of being a photographer is different now. I think people are scared to just say they're photographers. They have to say they're creators now, right? Because you got to do video, you got to do this, you got to do that. What do you say to the next generation coming up? Like, keep yourself diversified. What do you give them as like a stepping point to go for?
I think the best way for me, and I guess like what worked out for me, is like to like just find things that you like. And it sounds so weird and simple, but I'm being so serious. Like, I don't think people actually genuinely like things. You know, they just like things because they think that algorithm told them to like it. It's like, no, bro, like, get your own backbone. Like, dude, if you're into
Labubu's, listen,
then go nuts. You know what I mean? Convince me. You know what I mean? Like, that's where my stance is. Like, and everybody, like don't just ride the internet all day. Right. You know what I mean? Like, legit go out and find something that you like. If you like trees and like garbage cans and like bodega cats, then shoot that. You know what I mean? Or just gravitate towards that. Like, don't feed into the algorithms. And I think that people, it's like, honestly, I'm grateful that we got to like grow up before the internet, kind of stuff like that. You have to find what you like. You know what I mean? And not to say that it doesn't exist no more, but I think that people are so quick to be like, you know, get some weird reassurance from the algorithm that they forget to like go outside, you know, or just talk to homies, or just explore things without the internet, you know. And I genuinely love basketball. I genuinely love, like, you know, video games.
He cried when the Knicks lost. Don't
get me started, dude. Like, but the Knicks are winning this year. Knicks in 6 forever. Come on, Jalen Brunson, you're my guy.
But I think the difference was when we were coming up, you didn't self-publish, and it was hard to find a reason except for you just wanted to shoot the next shot. You know, I walked around with a back pocket full of 5x7s I printed in my parents' basement, right? There was no Instagram to show it, share it, get validation. Your validation was like,
word. It's like, all right, yeah, you rock with this.
And that had to have been enough. Yep. And now you can literally, you want to shoot bodega cats? Watch how fast you grow a TikTok shooting bodega cats.
Because you're focused on something. This is the age of ADD, you know what I mean? Like, and then nobody is focusing on anything, you know what I mean? People are just doing a bunch of random things and throwing it at the wall. How about you pick something, you know what I mean? If you want to take photos of hot dogs every day, I can guarantee you that, like, if you're consistent with that, it's going to work out. So I just really always gravitate towards, like, the things that I love, like, to keep it simple for the young. Like, I love black and white photos. I love, you know, shooting, you know, like, I love to make mundane things look dynamic, you know. I love, you know, I love music, you know. How can I incorporate all those things into my work all the time? Like, and I just always obsessively just trying to find ways to create that Venn diagram for myself. So I don't really overcomplicate it, but like the more that you get to dive into something, you can build layers. So yeah. It's like I know, but everybody always wants like this crazy like rocket science answer. Like, no, dude, like pick something. And I don't think anybody picks anything with confidence.
I don't think it's the rocket science answer. I think they want an immediate overnight explosion. They just want to be like, look what I did, and I'm special. And it's like, you got to deal with the fact that maybe you're not that special, but keep going and show that you're reliable, consistent, you're at a level, and just be okay with that, you know?
And that's fine.
It's just nuts. You know, I think part of photography, because it's so realistic, you're basically negotiating who you are in your brain. If you looked at our work as kids, you'd be like, we're all over the place, till we started narrowing it down and focusing in what we liked and worked more on that. And when I started shooting BMX, that was it. I was like, got it, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, I live this. I know what's important. One of my favorite photos ever was of these, we were on a road trip and everybody's knee pads were like baking in the sun to dry out. And I was like, no one would understand what that's like or what it smells like, by the way, except for another rider. You know what I mean? And you got to be okay with that's only like 0.5% of the world understands that.
Yeah, but then you actually like, but then you took it upon yourself to have like a obligation to tell that story, and then now you could put me onto something that I don't know about, and I actually learned something without it being weird, you know. Well, and I mean, I think that's fire, you know.
Do you think? And I'm gonna get a little weird, but do you think that you have some kind of obligation that is like Black culture?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, it's not weird at all. You know what I mean? I think it's funny that people think that's weird. Like, I mean, not against you, but I just think I'm proud. I'm a proud Black man. I'm proud of my family. I'm proud to like be able to tell a story. Like I love. That's why I love traveling. I love to be the New Yorker being in a spot in Cuba where they say, "Bro, you Cuban?" I was like, "Nah, I'm from Brooklyn." They say, "Oh, word!" And like it gets to like
it's a nationality. Brooklyn is a nationality.
But it's still like it's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? I think that everybody feel like that. I think that like, you know, like it's up to us to tell these stories properly and like with love and respect. So like I take that obligation really serious, and like and I also think it's a loving thing to do.
Yeah, I guess I say it's weird because like sometimes I feel like not exploitative, but more like it's exhibitionist. It's,
Yeah,
it's almost like
yeah.
voyeuristic for some
It's
people.
performative sometimes.
Yeah, like you go to a Midwest town and you show them New York black culture, they think they have an idea of it, but they don't know what the sound is like. They don't know what that vibe is like. You go through a block party and you've never been through a block party, you've been to New York.
You don't have no idea.
You have no clue. But you will walk out with a really good plate.
Really good plate, really a random song that you don't know, and you might have like a new auntie or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
You'll see your barber though.
make sure your barber is there as well too. But that's like the beautiful thing, especially about black culture. Like I love like doing that. I don't think that like it's like, especially when traveling, I don't think that they like, especially when it comes to I'm not saying all black folks, but like they don't understand black culture. Like for somebody like me, like I love metal and punk. They just think that I listen to hip hop all the time. I was like, bro, are you serious? Like, this, like, have you ever heard about?
You know what drives me nuts? That conversation of like, well, punk's got that from hip hop, and hip hop was like, no, hip hop got that from. I was like, bro, we were in the same struggle
together. You know what I mean?
We were a bunch of homeless kids. We were a bunch of homeless kids that were using safety pins to keep our clothes together. Like
the hip hop and punk are so like aligned. Like it's actually like, and I'm telling you, like it's too parallel. That's why like I've always identified with those like the most, honestly, and it's to this day still.
When I started seeing mosh pits at hip hop shows, I'm like, it makes sense.
It totally makes sense.
And then when I started watching hip hop kids rocking polos and skateboarding, I was like, yeah.
All right. Okay, it all starts to add up.
When you started wearing Metallica shirts, I was like, come on, man.
What's going on? I was like, have you listened to the band? They're like, no, I'll be the first person too. Like, are you wearing a Slayer shirt, Brad? Like, are you sure? Like, do you know what's going on?
Nah, I think it's just funny how like it's a different coat of paint.
Yeah.
But it's all the same house sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's a different vibe. And I think everybody can just, once you connect with something, that's it. It's over. And I think that's why your work is so successful. Like anybody I think can relate to being a kid. I mean, a lot of you, I keep saying kid because your kid shots are so, you have this moments with kids. I don't know how you do it, but like they're looking straight through your lens half the time and they're just cutting you to ribbons like through your eyes. Like
I just talk a lot of smack all the time because I talk to kids like adults. It's like, yo, bro, like you look cool. I was like, you look mad cool, bro. It's like, is it cool to take your photo? And then when you talk to a kid like a normal person, they're receptive. And I don't think people are like, I think people try to talk to them like labubus all the time. I'm like, dude, like, I'm like, this is not a sponsored post. but I just talk to them like little homies all the time, and it's always been like this respect, and like, cause that's how I was raised too. Like my dad my parents or my family never spoke to me like a little kid. It was
you didn't jingle keys in front of them. No,
it's never been like, oh yeah, word. Like Santa's never been real for me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but I think it's also your approach, your vibe. Like you're coming to them with the freaking Yankees hat on and stuff like that. Like they're not looking at like an outsider.
Right? I don't look like a photographer. You know what I mean? Like a quote unquote, like I don't have like a crazy telephoto lens and like, and being like exploitive. Like, no, I'm really coming up on. I don't lead with the photo sometimes. I lead with the compliment.
Right,
like
right.
More or less like, oh word, y'all having a good day? Like, y'all look cool. Like, oh girl, this is my car. Can I drive it? Like, like literally being a part of the conversation. And then like, oh, by the way, would it be cool to take a photo? And sometimes people say no. And when I respect the no so much that when I will walk away, then people are like, actually, can you come back and take?
Oh, you make them feel jealous because they shot their friend and all that stuff. Yeah, I guess.
It's like, oh, word, like you're actually like not weird. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I wasn't trying to do that.
Have you thought about printing your photos in a medium that could be used within culture? So Amy Touchette was here, and she has a playing card deck of all her street photos. And I love this playing card deck. I bring it up all the time because I think it was like the best application of street photography ever. All the old ladies that she shoots of every hood, they're the queens.
That's actually fire.
And I just feel like you could kind of do something like that, or like, I just feel like something that's tangible or tactile as a medium for your photos, I think would work.
My big thing, and I'm more like, I guess like this is like the big, like the fatal flaw. I would kind of describe like my photos and the amount of photos I have, like a messy closet. I have so many photos now that I need to like clean my closet. And I'm always like in that, every time I pick my outfit, if you will, I always figured out another outfit like the next day. So I just need to like pick my outfits out of my messy closet. So I'm trying to do that, and like eventually, like I've been flirting with making a book for a long time, and like I'm like actually the most like momentum I've actually had like to like completing it, because like it makes sense in my head now, but it took a long time. Like, cause it's always like, yeah, that's like, I guess like, yeah, my problem was like, I have so many photos now. Like, how can I consistently tell a story that still makes sense with it not being all over the place? So whether that's through like playing cards or whether it's through a book or like a zine or like postcards, like I've always had that problem. Like, but I do want to make more tangible stuff because like grew up on comic books and like Game Informers and stuff like that. Like, I want to make a Game Informer for my own photos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I think because your work is so chronological sometimes that you're always on to the next and go forward. I think you just need to, and that's probably why a magazine works so well for you. There is a guy, David Carroll. He used to be the photo editor for CBS. He started a book company called Peanut Press. And the cool thing about them is from complete start to complete end, the photographer has to say over the whole process.
oh, sick.
He did Victoria Will's book.
Fire.
Who did 10 types of all the celebrities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And maybe you should talk to him because maybe he can help you kind of organize
I'll be
yourself,
so down, honestly.
you know what? I got to tell you, I thought one day, I don't know why I thought this, but I'm like, one day he's going to make like NES cartridges with a label as his photos.
Hey, don't play with me. That might happen next week.
Collector's set, man. You know?
You've heard it here first.
Game Boy cartridges with your photos
That
on
would
them.
be sick,
Yo,
honestly.
forget about it. What are you doing?
But yeah, because like with this new gallery that I've been working with, shout out to like Cycle and all those dudes. Like maybe we can do that. Maybe we could do that with them. You know.
This is it, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we just shout out to JT List if you are somewhere in the world. Now, hope you hear this.
This is brand new.
Brand spanking new.
200 followers. You don't even exist.
No, we are not real yet. No, I'm really excited about that space and being able to have like a role in like being the lead photography curator there, and like I could just start doing more nerdy stuff, like all the little nerdy dreams that I've had, like video game cartridges or like selling a bunch of empanadas and doing all that kind of stuff. Like being able to like JT can give me the keys to do it. So thank God.
And what's this about? I saw this on your page.
So we're actually in like a process of like creating like a bigger subdivision of Street Dreams. So I run that company, The Tunnel, which is like a sports media agency with my business partner Ashley. And Eric as well too. And it's like the same way of like just trying to make sure that we get more chances to shoot our shot when it comes to like partnerships and like being able to work with just brands in general. And what Ashley and Tunnel has done over the years, they really bodied the sports media angle and being able to work in animes and just that high level of production where sometimes we could be too much of a hippies and like hugging trees and stuff. Like she would talk to way more people than I do. So like I always said the same thing, like we're stronger together, and like she helps us like look really, really strong together. So between like the Tunnel and Art House Studios, we kind of like all Voltron together to like just try to do bigger projects. So we just did that whole gala thing a couple of weeks ago. We had like Gunna perform and all that stuff, which is kind of crazy. I was like, dude, this is real life. Like got Gunna performing at my activations. This started with me begging for pizza a couple of years ago.
I mean, this really started through Instagram. I mean, when you actually, you've always been that way with like networking, because I feel like, not that you couldn't do it on your own or whatever, but your following got built up a lot by like, hey, I know these people, we'll tag each other, keep on bouncing back followers until you had this like constant rotation, and you guys just got huge. Alpha Collective came in, said, hey, we're going to support you, and they put you on the collective. And then you've just been on every Sony event, and then the Sony event leads to the other things, and it just keeps on building. And you've never like not known how to optimize that, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, like it's just kind of like it's always that kind of like, that was always been the motto of like you're never doing anything by yourself, and I really don't believe in like people like, I don't know, obviously individually you need to like hold your weight, but like dude, collectively we're always sstronger together. So it's always just made sense to me of like not being the only person trying to fight any of these battles. Like it is like kind of like a little of a warfare mentalities all the time that feel like, am I going to just be like an egomaniac and try to do everything, or like am I going to try to be Wu-Tang, dude? And I always prefer to be Wu-Tang, dude.
Wu-Tang was such a brilliant, I mean, that guy was like, all right, we're all going to be on different labels at the same time and just own the entire industry. I was like, man, what a story.
Bruh. I mean, honestly, I think that people should operate like that all the time. And I mean, that's why I'm just really been blessed to have like homies like you and Silva and Dave and we've all managed to like be homies for this long. I mean, nobody's ever made it weird. It's never been like this competitive kind of thing. Like, dude, I'm not competing with you. Like,
oh, it's been weird. It's been weird.
It's actually been weird. Like,
it's been weird.
Let me take that back.
Oh my God.
But no, there's always been like the we're stronger together kind of mentality. I would never wanted to approach anything like that. Like individually being strong, but collectively we're stronger together kind of shit. So
So what's next? Where are we going? I mean,
Oh,
it looks
God,
like you're
what's
always
next?
doing something, but like
First of all, Ghost of Tsushima comes out and like tomorrow.
that goes to Yotai.
Ghost of Yosei, sorry, my bad.
What is this? Look at this poser. Look at this poser. This
I'm
inauthentic.
leaving. Oh God.
I bought it and I can't even get to it because I'm still stuck on Silk Song.
Oh yeah, because like, I never got into Silk Song though.
Oh, I love
The Hollow Knight
I
joint,
love
right?
Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
I'm such a lore.
But yeah, Metroidvania kind of joints,
It's
right?
great though. It's,
Really?
It's hand drawn. It's
But people
creepy.
love this joint though.
I love it.
Really?
I love it so much.
It's really that good?
The lore is so crazy and ambiguous that you get sucked into it, and it's kicking my ribs in. Like, it's so hard, and when you beat it, you get that Elden Ring feel. Like, I got through it. And one of the things you'll learn from Souls-like games is it doesn't matter how many times you try, you just need one. You just got to win once.
You beat one boss. Like I honestly never beat Elden Ring. I got into the halfway point and I was just got so over it. But yeah, Ghost of Yotei on this. No, dude, it's so no. I want to die all the time.
Yeah, but I'm so into the choices made by game design.
I love the game design choices.
I
like,
can't
mwah.
stop. I'm much like Sal, if you're still in the chat, he'll be like, oh, I just played Elden Ring. Oh, and I'm done. I'm like, wait, what?
How?
He just burns through things. And I'm like, I like to walk around, see what the things they wrote on the
I'm
walls
looking at the
are.
instructions,
Yeah, I'm like,
reading the notes.
yeah, I mean, I love living inside somebody's, design. And he's just like, he beat Bloodborne in like 5 minutes.
No
and I was
way.
like, yo, Sal, if you're in this chat, he
I'm
texted me.
honestly, I need to bust his balls. I was like, are you serious?
He's like, well, I have a daughter and I have things to do. And I'm like, what is this?
I could hear him say that too. Actually, so.
Well, yeah, he wouldn't say it like that. He'd say it like adorably and Italian.
Yeah, that's Salvatore. Salvatore.
He'd be like, that game doesn't have real mozzarella in it.
I was like, oh, come on, Sal.
That's not really chicken parmesan.
Like, but like Ghost of Yotei for sure. That's coming up. And then honestly,
That's what's next.
that's the most important thing. But no, we have a big gallery that's coming up. I'm hosting my first curated show at the Cycle Gallery on November 7th. Knock on wood, everything goes with that.
Or Micah, but okay.
Just hopefully that goes well. But still, yeah, that first show I'm really excited about that. It's going to be a big group show.
Where is that gallery?
It's on 91 Allen Street, right between Empanada Mama and Williamsburg Pizza, which is crazy.
Oh.
Legit, like down the block. You know what I mean?
Oh, I can go to this.
You know, legit like, walking distance. You know what I mean? That's like 5 songs, dude. It's not that bad.
Oh. Maybe I'll go to this. Maybe. If you're lucky, maybe.
So like doing that, so I'm really excited about that. And we are going back to Japan in November, so I'm going to be out there. So if anybody's in Japan and wants to hang out in Osaka and drink beers and talk smack all day, I'm definitely going to be doing that. And I'm really excited to like go into next year as well too, because we took a year off from making the magazine. Just like I did, like invested into the restaurant. So we got the TT's restaurant now in East Williamsburg, and then like just really been trying to diversify the assets and diversify the bonds as much as possible. And then now going into next year, we're gonna bring the magazine back, so make a bigger Street Dreams magazine, a little bit more sports focused, because we've always done like we've expanded into the photography and art side of it, and now it's like we can start bringing in the other subcultures that we really rock with. So I know this time we can have more of a sports focus in this issue as well too, on top of all the photography and art. So like my brain is always doing a bunch of random stuff, and helping out APA as well too, because I'm on national board of directors for that too, and like, trying to help them out and make sure that we can keep on elevating. So I'm always going to keep on nonchalantly acting like I have nothing to do,
And always being late. And always.
I'm always late.
But I also feel like you're in this trajectory. I always think you're just going to be an agency at some point.
Yeah, but there's always like that tension of like, do I really want to do that, or like, do I want to like keep everything kind of like hippie and strong? So
You want to
like,
grow up or what?
I want to be a Toys R Us kid.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always astounding. Every time I check on you, it's something so not what you were doing before, but still the same tone of what you were doing before. It's like, I'm like, how does he find the next thing? And how are you not full of anxiety of like, well,
I am.
you got a rent to pay, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, it sounds like a joke, but like, rent's expensive,
It's New York, bro.
And Bed-Stuy is not cheap. So, but at the same time, like, dude, as much as I love photography, I can't just do photography. If I just did photography all the time, it would drive me crazy. So I had to like streamline my life. So like with the food space, through video games, through like sports, like it all has to make sense. So I just try to make sure that those things are properly supported, so I don't like lose my mind taking my hair off with taking photos. Because like as much as I love photos would definitely drive me crazy.
Dude, I'm surprised you haven't built out some indie game already.
I'm trying.
I almost tried until I found out what it was really went into, and I was like, oh no,
Did you ever play that Scott Pilgrim versus the World game?
I love that
One of the
game.
hardest games of all time.
And they took it away from us for years.
Bruh.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World was one of the best beat 'em up games ever. And if you're an emo kid, I can totally bet you it hits a bunch of chords.
It's like a better Metal Slug, dude. I mean, like it's like Metal Slug and Contra had a baby, and then they made Streets of Rage.
Dude, one of the people we recently had on here was EE, and she is an operations manager for Heart Machine video games.
Oh, crazy.
And I told her my idea for a video game, and she was like, well, let me crush your dreams. And she just told me everything that has to go into it. And I'm like, I can't do this. She's like, yeah, you're looking at probably like
mad work.
If you're one guy, you're probably looking at like 6 years to develop it. And
6 years.
But then you need money to get more people to cut that down. And I was like, I don't think I can. And then you don't know if it'll be a success. But then if you look at Hollow Knight, right, like we were just talking about them, 3 guys, they worked forever on it. They didn't care what happened, and it blew up. Then 7 years later, they do their follow-up, and they had such a good time doing it, and they had so many resources from the first game that now they're millionaires, and they're doing right by the fans. They're giving the free things away. They said they only made the game $20. They didn't say, hey, we're famous now.
That part, they only made the game $20, dude. Because like, don't get me started, EA being bought by $55 billion, but like, dude, like
GTA 6 is gonna be like $150 for it. Like, come on.
Easy. They have no choice though. And you think the online is gonna come out when it first drops? They're not gonna drop the online until like 6 to 8 months later because you had to play the game first.
They're gonna have to build servers for it. Are you kidding me?
Did you hear about they just sold, like they just bought this crazy AI company that's doing all this crazy stuff in the game now?
Well, what about AI for you guys? I mean, Street Dreams is up against AI. Like, tell me where we're at on that.
See, and then that's kind of like the same thing I was saying before. Is like I would rather like I need to learn how to drive the car and before like like the horse in the car situation. Like it's the same thing. I still need to know how to drive the car. Like I'm not going to be stuck to the horse. I still need to make sure that AI is practical. Like as much as like there's a lot of like things where I just feel like, oh yeah, no, this is like a little combative with what we do, but there's also like ways that we could optimize just our workflow and like things that make sense within that space. So have I figured out all the practical ways to use it besides like my emails? No, you know what I mean? But like there is a way, but am I worried about it? Absolutely. You know what I mean? You have no choice. Dude, you could type into prompts in the AI to do product shots. That could take away a whole industry. You know what I mean?
It took away retouchers overnight.
Easy.
Overnight.
But at the same time, like there's still gonna be more jobs that pop up now. Now instead of like being a retoucher, you need to be the prompt guy, So like it's not turned into the whole thing in itself. So it's like
too fast. It's too fast to learn it as a I just think everyone's like, remember the Industrial Revolution took away jobs, like, but that took like a decade. This is taking like 2 days. Like, I don't know what to make of it. I really don't. I think it's streamlining a lot of things.
We need to get ahead of it too. But I mean, but to your point, like it's going so fast. How do you get ahead of it?
Yeah, but as a human, aren't you sick of ingesting? Like when
I am.
When you scroll things and it's just like garbage CGI. Like I don't want to look at this.
No, I don't want to look at it either. I still think I'm always like a glass half full. I think there's a way that it still makes sense, but like, is it something that's extremely alarming? Absolutely. But I don't think people are using it in the most practical, subjective way yet. I think people are just grifting right now. It's like, instead of grifting, make some real, I want to say real sugar honey iced tea. You know what I mean? Like nobody's making no real sugar honey iced tea. They're just grifting right now with AI stuff. And I get it. But still, like, what's the practical, logical kind of way that we can use it that still feels morally right? You know what I'm saying?
There's also the aspect that's up to the end user whether they buy into it or not. So, like, when the strike was going on in Hollywood, they were fighting so that they would have to hire human writers. That's crazy, right?
Isn't that wild?
But if they made an all AI movie, I understand everyone would go to it just to like see, well, what is it? But you also have a choice not to support.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't make money, they don't keep going that direction. Look at PlayStation VR. No one supported it and it kind of went away.
Yeah, you remember Virtual Boys, right? Like I kind of feel like the same thing.
It kind of came back. Did you see that thing?
But then, dude, now it's on the Switch.
Did you see it?
Bruh, there's no way. My eyes are still burnt in from the Virtual Boy back in the day.
I rented Virtual Boy from Blockbuster.
Get out of here.
That's how crazy that was.
There's no way.
And it was such a letdown as a kid. You're like, all right, What?
But I feel like my brain, I can close my eyes and still see like those
The red.
dude. I'm like, dude, there's no way.
And the flickering red. You're like,
no.
oh, this is what happened to us.
Yeah, that's literally. I think that's what happened.
It's our generation's MK Ultra. That's what happened.
The virtual boy. That's actually really spot on.
Oh my God. Well, listen, man. I hope we do get you to Comic-Con because I wish you would have told me because I actually they gave me an opportunity to get an assistant.
Oh,
for
shit.
my pass.
Oh, sorry.
But I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, no, it's probably too late because it's like next week. I didn't realize it was so soon. But Raheem is going Black Soap.
Oh, what about Nico?
I don't think Nico is going this year, but but I know Raheem is going to go. I think Nico is traveling.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's been bouncing around all over the place too, because like directing movies and stuff. No, he's a big deal now. He's the mayor. The mayor.
Listen, New York Nico, that guy.
What a guy! I love
He got
Nico.
married at Cat's Deli.
One of the sickest weddings ever, dude.
If you can pull that, you are like a next level New Yorker.
It was Japanese and Jewish food all night. It was actually insane.
When I
It was
saw that
so
on your
fire.
Instagram, I was like, I don't feel like I'm from New York anymore. I was like, I can't believe this.
I mean, the whole time we kept on looking around that guy in this wedding, he kept on saying it felt like an Arrested Development episode.
Every pastrami sandwich is $30. So now imagine a wedding.
And actually, it was free all night. It was free all night too, dude. And like, you were literally eating egg rolls and pastrami sandwiches. Like, I pretty much went to sleep right after that, dude. I was so full.
There's a guy there that's a huge fan of Adorama, and hey, what's up, Ken? He's always like, "Don't wait on that line. Just text me." And I'm like, "That's it." And I felt like I finally.
Hey, Ken.
Whenever me and Joe McNally are like, "Let's go get pastrami," I'm like, "I'm bringing Joe." Oh man, but. Listen, I'm looking forward to where you go next. I'm looking forward to seeing what you do with AI. I do think you should do something that's just like a New York project.
Yeah.
I think this city could use it at this point
Yeah.
right now. I
Yeah.
think we're about to go through a massive change in this city.
Yeah.
So I think if you've established yourself as that voice, I think this is your chance to step up. Maybe not show up late, maybe,
20 minutes late.
Sure. I mean,
but no, the city definitely needs it. I know. I think we all been belly aching about the same thing. I'm just trying to figure out what to talk about in the best way. But there's so much to talk about in New York. So I would just want to still make sure I have the same approach where it doesn't feel it still feels punk but not combative. You know what I mean? So
whatever you put out, you can always launch it here. I got a forum for you.
What a guy.
You guys will show up for this, right? But other than that, guys, make sure you check out Steve's everything over here. Check out Street Dreams, check out The Tunnel, check out all the things he's getting into. And there's also a lot of stuff on Adorama TV with him. He's been featured a few times on this channel over the years. So if you want to see him actually in action, just type in Steve Sweatpants, Adorama Steve Sweatpants. And, we'll keep an eye on this up-and-comer over here. Hopefully, you'll show up. I was getting ready to cancel this one. I'm not gonna lie.
He's like, Steve is still in bed stuff.
Guy shows up with pajama pants on and sunglasses.
Yeah.
He's like, I was like, let's do this.
You will not see my eyes, sir.
Oh my God. But if you guys have been into this is the 70th episode. There's 70 other people in a playlist. If you want to check out some more, hit it up, let it play while you're editing, all that kind of stuff. Also, don't forget, boom, the events channel right here. And I did run an 8-hour video of past live streams. So if you want to put something on as a screensaver, it's sitting on that channel for you. Go ahead and subscribe there. And everything that's streamed out of this event space goes to that channel pretty much. A few things on this main channel, but we'll talk about that another. Anyway. Steve, you're exhausting. But, man. Be good.
Bro. Appreciate you.
Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. We will see you soon. Don't forget, Adorama has the Jewish holidays coming up. So if you need to order something, order it now. And I will see you guys. Also, I might be coming back to do a demo on October 30th. Don't hold me that. All right, goodbye, guys.